It's recording now. Hi, everybody. This is our podcast number 5 with John and Gary, the Wow Effect. Gary, so this is our 5th podcast, and I just want to start off with what's trending in the news now. We have the Hunter Biden trial. We're going to talk about your prediction on what's going to happen, and then we're going to talk about basketball also. There's a big game with the Dallas Mavericks and the Boston Celtics, and it's going on this week. And we have a great international player, Luka Doncic. He's from Slovenia. I guess that was part of Yugoslavia, correct, at one time, and now they're producing a lot of great basketball players like Nikola Djokovic, another great Yugoslavian former Slovenia. I'm not sure if he's from Serbia or I guess Yugoslavia was broken up into different parts.
Yes.
But I really enjoy the game Luka Doncic plays, and it's they play tonight, and my prediction is I think they're gonna win tonight, but it's gonna be I think they're gonna go to 7 games. So that's my prediction for the basketball, and my team is the Phillies. And I think the Phillies are going to beat the Mets twice, and I think the Yankees are going to win tonight for all our sports fans out there. What do you think about go ahead, Gary.
I think you're right. The only thing I think, first of all, hello to you and your audience. Nice seeing you and talking to you. But I think the basketball, it's actually classic, traditional U.S. sport, and the U.S. going to be leading all the way for the next few hundreds years at least, because as we know, all white men can jump. And believe me, it doesn't matter what of course there are exceptions. Some people like Chinese tall guy on this Yugoslavian guy was a couple of exceptions. Oh, look at Prokhorov.
Luka's a great player. Luka Doncic.
I know. There are exceptions. It's not.
And Nikola Djokovic from the Denver Nuggets. He's been the three-time best player in the in NBA basketball.
No objection at all. You're right, but it's kind of exception from the rule. Take a look at it's a one name among the hundreds, but what about the whole? It's Shaquille O'Neal or hundreds of names who has actually been with the history. Take a look at the Prokhorovs in the Brooklyn Nets. He also wanted to. He's 6'6", if I'm not mistaken, or 6'7" himself, and he wanted, and he plays basketball, and he thought it's easy, so he wanted to. He bought the whole team, and where they are right now, nothing happened.
What do you think of that Yugoslavia area? How do they make good basketball players? It's like
it's very simple. It's very simple. Everything, everything comes from TV. They see the terrific game, which is always come from United States, and they want to play the same. And they want just to repeat all those jumps and all those things. And here you go. When you actually just push yourself to the limits, you start jumping like a normal player. But again, it's a kind of exception. Yes, and they can succeed. But again, for 3 years, 5 years, and it's kind of exception from the rule. But the land of basketball, believe me, it's all here.
All right, let's move on to topics, like another thing trending. What's your prediction for the Hunter Biden trial? Win, loss?
It's going to be, it's going to be a strange thing. I think he's not going to be giving all that power for nothing. And as the old rules say, it doesn't matter how many people vote for you. Ballots, it's a kind of different story, but whoever counts the votes, it's completely different. I don't think they're going to give up power, and he's doing it for the party. He would retire a long time ago. He is tired of everything, but he's doing it for the next candidate, which is Kamala Harris. And Kamala.
What do you think about the son? I think nothing's probably going to happen to the son.
Oh, no. That's the prerogative of being the son of the president. If something could happen to him, to the Hunter Biden, it would be already happening. But see nothing happening, and people don't like to talk about it. So basically, being the son of president, it's kind of cool. So nothing going to happen to them, and nothing is going to happen to them all until Democrats in the power. And I believe it's going to be next Vice President Kamala Harris, and it's going to be next 10 years, because another 2 terms plus the one who is going to be after 2024. So it doesn't count by US law. So the total 10 years of power, they will be ruling. Hey, God knows what's going to happen in 10 years. What's going to happen to all of us? I think it's going to be forgotten, or it's going to be different administration, different story.
I just want to say, I just want to save the middle class. I mean, hopefully the middle class can continue to prosper, and that's what makes America great, is the middle class, and not putting stress on the people. Like, if prices come down, food prices come down, gas prices, real estate, everything's a whole high right now, and I don't know how everybody can exist in a market like this. And the only people that are going to really, the super rich, they're fine. In America, we take care of our low income and people on disability.
We used to take care. I mean, we used to take care. That was that's basically right now we also take care, but it's going to be kind of tough because you're on the border of very, very thin line. We used to do, but kind of not anymore, because we better take care of somebody who is come illegally from the borders. That's completely different care, and we forget people who actually spend their life here. That's sad.
But if you make it so tough for the middle class, then eventually, like, they'll not want to work and go into the bottom brackets, right? And then you're getting, hopefully you could be taken care of.
You're right.
There's no motivation if you put a lot of pressure and stress onto the middle class.
You're absolutely right. And I mean, ideally, that's what's supposed to be like it was 30, 35 years ago. But again, it's a kind of different country right now. And not enough power to take care of everybody, is it? It's like in religious field. Usually people provide the classic miracles, and they happens once in a while. But if it's not miracle, what's the classic answer? Not enough faith. So, so it's kind of same story. Look, right now they need votes, and all this 6, 10, 12, 15 million people who comes from there, they're going to be grateful. So they let them in, they vote for it. Okay. And people who actually surviving with food stamps and all this support. Okay. If they didn't die before, they will wait a little longer. That's all. Nothing going to happen. We're not living in an ideal world. It's not me saying. It's their thoughts. But again, resistance of US people, it's very, very high. You know what? I thought collapse is going to happen a couple of years ago, but nothing really happened. And so far, I think it's not going to happen anything right now. People just survive and just patiently wait who is going to become the next president. And when the next president will step in, that's a different story. But we live in a very, very interesting world, John. And tomorrow definitely not going to be better than today.
I understand. I was also thinking, what's good about this country is, like, every 4 years there's election, or every 2 years. But the way, I like to see peace between both parties, or, as long as both parties can help people, that's what I see. Maybe they got to come up with some kind of new idea. Maybe, 4 years to the Democrats, 4 years to the Republicans. You still have a vote, for the Senate, but maybe you just say, okay, one party's, they got their 8 years, and then it goes to the other party, and they have their 8 years, but they still vote for internal candidates. I don't know if Congress can make laws or if they could change things, but this way there'll be less fighting, and maybe there'll be stuff can get done. That's just
John, you're the smartest person on Western Hemisphere that I met. You know that. I told you many times.
Smarter than me.
Don't take it as a compliment. It is true. But let me ask you this: why always two parties? We would here have 400 million total, 380, if I'm not mistaken, million people living in the United States. Okay, for the good round number, 400 million people. Two parties, okay, for the long time, for the last 200 years, 400 million. Why two parties? Always choosing the oldest candidates possible. One is 80 plus, another one is 82, 83. And what's going to happen in 4 years? What is not enough ambitious, smart people with a new blood and knowledge how to do it right? I don't get it. Okay. Basically, my idea, it's not just to make existing party change, because usually it doesn't work that way. If it would be changed, it would be noticeable a long time ago. In programs, in things, they all look alike. It really doesn't matter. I mean, there's difference between Republicans and Democrats, but in reality, it's people not hungry anymore. They're kind of old. They're already in the peak of their careers. They're not hungry. They're not looking for any drastic changes. They don't care. You know, there is no agenda, nothing really. They look alike. Yes, they have differences. They have different approaches. But in reality, if you compare, it's really not much there. And the most interesting thing for me, why they always sold, okay? And nothing actually going on. Same thing like it was for the last 10 years. It's again 80 years, 82, 83, or no competition whatsoever. They can't even talk. One of them is sleeping all the time. Another one is actually promising things but forget about it, or just showing off for what kind of agreement he signed, which actually he have no idea but how it's gonna work. But it's just a talk. It's kind of show. Okay, what really would be something, not what you're talking about, it's what you're doing. Okay, if somebody not necessarily Republican and Democrats, I understand that people have stereotypes and for them it's already easy to choose. Okay, donkeys or elephants. That's
but you're right. I think after this election, I think there's going to be new blood. Like maybe on the Democrat, you got Kamala Harris, Garrett Newsom in California,
use some other name, but
and then you got on the Republican side, you have a lot of you know, the governor DeSantis. I'm talking about the next election. You got probably DeSantis.
Why after
there's a lot of young congressmen?
Why after all this, after 2024, we right now sitting in the peak. We're in a crucial time. Crucial. We have two bad economy, problems with the borders, problem with the presidents and problem administration, and problem with the economy in general. Plus, we're on top of it as a cherry on the pie. We have 2 wars going. Okay. We about to right on the peak of Third World War III. I'm sorry. It's just WW3 could happen any minute with everything, with all the development. So why we have to wait another 4 years to see what's next president will do, which is not going to be any drastically new or nothing going to change, because again, both parties have same program. They don't offer anything except the, okay, give us power and we'll do something about it. There is nothing behind it. At least if you remember back 15, 20 years ago, they have developed different approaches. Obama, I can't even talk about Obama, but at least he promised infrastructure, roads, we will fix whatever happened with the bridges and this and that. Again, it was just promises, nothing happened, but at least he tried to promise something. This one, I mean, Trump just goes with the flow. Okay, we're gonna fix this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna do better, we're gonna clean the swamp, we're gonna dry the swamp, we're gonna make America great again, and so on. Biden just sleep. That's what we got right now.
Yeah, I'm talking about the next election. I know right now this election is coming up.
So it's another 4 years you're talking about. Another 4 years. 4.
Yeah, because either you know, we have an election coming up in October, and maybe both sides can't get, you know, Biden wins or Kamala Harris wins. You know, if Trump wins, he's only got 4 years, and if whatever policy he makes, they'll just change everything.
I agree with you. It's not going to happen once in a while, because United States, our country, is kind of big elephant. It's slow.
Yeah, it's a slow process.
What we could do, not, 40, 50 years ago, Kennedy said, don't think what country can do for you, what you can do for your country. We can actually do something about it. We can create the flow, movements. We could create the income. We could actually help. We could do much better than with municipalities. Local, not forget the global presence and the political issue. Okay, that's fine with it. It's not going to touch us. But local issues are ours. And okay, let's leave federal government with the federal issues. But what can we do? We could just create the movements. We could talk to people, organize things, give up the really charity, help with the money. We could do many things. Okay, and we can organize even our new party that actually people could join, and to see that tomorrow, against the cliche, which is tomorrow is always going to be worse than today, we could do completely opposite. We will work on something. It's just an idea that tomorrow could be better, if it's not going to be just talk, but also to do things the right way.
I think people are like burnt out. If you notice, maybe they're, we went through the coronavirus, and I think people are still in shock with that. And
we're still breathing, are we?
Affected.
You look good. I look good. We're still breathing. We went through the coronavirus and the big time, and we're still. I mean, every day you above the ground, it's another day. So we're fighters. We have
Maybe everybody thinks that they're just happy. Oh, we made it through, some type of destruction, and people are just happy to be alive and less motivated to. You know how the '60s, everybody was really like, using thoughts or trying to make the country better, always in the politics of people like are now are just going with the flow.
I remember. I mean, all this thing goes by cycle. But what I say, you know what? We're not just happy. We're the same people like everybody else. We could be happy. We could be unhappy. It's going to be good day or it's going to be bad day. We just lived our normal life. But we're breathing. We're just functioning. And we're not going to complain. We're not going to get half senile and sleep all the time. We could do something about it until we Americans. What's different between Americans? Americans always dynamic. I mean, static kills us. Dynamic, actually, we have to move forward. We have to do something about it. And I would say, fuck the government, but no, I'm not going to say it. I say completely different. Leave them alone with the federal issue. Let them do whatever they do. But we, as a local people, we can do something different, definitely. For example, there's many things going on in our Central Jersey, okay? Many things happening in the markets, market fairs, people who actually creating things in religious field. Okay, in religious field, there's many different places that actually offering the services, and they struggling, surviving. We could help. We can organize people, around your show. What can we do? We can bring the very interesting people, like famous people with the millions of audience, not like us two, 1, 2. We just kind of ignite the process, but we will bring people with the 6, 10, 20 million people, followers, famous actors, the ones we discussed, sportsmen, Mike Tyson, basketball players, I don't know, famous people. And actually, they could influence the movements that we would like to create and make it better. Then tomorrow, actually, big difference from today. That's what we can do, and we will do starting next week.
Yeah, starting next week. I'm glad. I hope you can mention some names.
You know what it's called? I can mention name. We even talked about it. Please just listen just the previous. It was Hollywood people. I personally like Danny DeVito. I think one of the greatest one. I love Keanu Reeves. He's really different from many other actors. Sportsman, it's Mike Tyson. Yeah, we already spoke with them, and they possibly coming. But the thing is, your show calls wow factor. Wow means people don't know who is going to be the next. Another two guys from New Jersey, or it's going to be Tyson sitting here, or DeVito. Or
that's the wow fact. 2 guys, right?
Or Roberto Benigni, or somebody else. That's called wow. And then it's going to be not just 2 people talking. It's going to be 10 million listening, or 20 million participating all over the globe.
Exactly, and that's why it's called the wow effect. We're bringing people on
starting next week.
Starting next week, we want to see their opinion on how we can make the world a better place. Or everybody has an opinion. It's That's what's great about the United States. Everybody has an opinion.
And I agree with you. And most wonderful thing about it, okay, it's like a big stadium. You know this feeling when you're watching your sport, basketball team or game or football over your TV in your room, it's a one thing. But when you're in the huge stadium with 40, 50,000 people, it's completely different energy. Right? Completely different mentality, completely you feel different because again, all those 50,000 people right here with you. Same thing with this. Right now, we're just discussing things. But imagine if 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 million people actually listening, discussing, talking, and actually that's called influence. These people will influence the masses, and masses actually will respond the normal way. And the most important thing, we could discuss everything, no limitation here. Okay, how to make it better, how to actually save situation which is worse, or to just turn it around in a better direction. I would love to do that.
You know, that's great about with Zoom calls, and you could have the audiences come in, and that's part of being a democracy.
I agree.
You have a voice of the people for the people, and
The most interesting thing that it's not just economy. It's not just. I mean, it's still best country with all these problems, but we're not living in an ideal world. You know, take a look at different places. I mean, there are pluses, there are minuses, but again, it's never ideal, never. But United States is still kind of a good country, which is at least principle of democracy exists. And one of the most important thing is kind of spirituality, because people just got bored. They don't believe in anything. They think, okay, nothing I can do about it, and there are no miracles around us. There is, and that's why it's completely different sphere of influence. We could just talk about different approaches. I know you're Catholic. I think it's a great Christian religion. I think that's the sphere that very deep inside to each person, whether he's Catholic or he is a Christian or he's a Muslim or he is a Jewish person, it's completely different, but it's a deep spiritual thing. Why are you in this place? What's influenced you? What makes you moving? What makes you wake up every morning? Why am I on this earth in general? Who is behind and above us? You know, it's the kind of subject we have to also include. I mean, it's everybody's article, everybody's topic. Everybody will like it, and we have
we're gonna bring some religious leaders. It's always you know, good to speak about God and other religious leaders' opinion. I mean, I know it's a fact that you know, I believe in God, and yeah, we're gonna go down that path also on our podcast.
No limits, John. No limits. For the
No
good
limits.
minds, there is no limitations. It's always out of the box. It's deeper and broader. And whatever we discussed, actually, is going to be good for society. I agree with you.
I would actually like to. I'm going to bring in some pastors. I hope they could come in where they could help through through the power of God, also heal people. It's amazing. So if they're able to do, I'm going to invite also them. You know, deep prayer can cause miracles.
You witness to that?
I've actually witnessed some of that, so I'd like to bring some of these pastors.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's wow.
that is wow. Yeah, when you bring these pastors in, it's definitely like you're going, wow. I mean, you believe in God, but then you're seeing actual miracles. You know, it just opened your eyes. You know, some people they talk about God or religion, but sometimes when you see it, it's an amazing thing.
I know. I agree. Well, it's whatever brings people together, whatever influence the mind and will. I think it's a very positive thing, and religious it's a subject of discussion. But people who have to believe something, who actually ask themselves a question: why am I here? For what purpose? What the goal? I think it's very unique people, and you have to talk about it, because when you're discussing it, you get your answers.
All right, Gary, this is what we're going to do. This is going to be, we can end it, right? End the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. We discuss everything in general, and people ready for what's coming. And it's coming, interesting part. Yeah.
What's coming is very going to be a wow. Let me,
okay.
Hold on, Gary. Hold on.